Landmark research has concluded that people with ME and chronic fatigue syndrome have significant differences in their DNA compared to those without the condition. Scientists say their findings offer the first robust evidence that genes contribute to a person's chance of developing the condition. There's currently no diagnostic test or cure, which is believed to affect around 67 million people worldwide. Well, let's speak to one of those sufferers. Victoria developed ME following COVID. Victoria, good morning to you.
Good morning.
I wonder what you make of this news that DNA might well play a role here. How important a breakthrough do you see this as being?
I see it as very important. I think that not only that it is a genetic or maybe immune condition potentially, but a lot of the research points to things, that people who have ME have been suspecting for a long time. So there's certainly a kind of validation there to say that that what you're experiencing is real, but also it's the beginning of a process of really beginning to identify what ME is and how to treat it, and that's really important. So it's a part of the beginning of a journey, but it's certainly, for me, I'm quite excited about it, to be honest.
And you talk about validation there, because there's been this lack of understanding as to the root causes. Do you think that has coloured some people's view of the condition?
Sure, I think a lot of people don't really know what it is. A lot of people don't know that it exists. It's also coloured things like how people with ME access services, whether it's benefit services or social services, but also in the NHS in Scotland, there are no ME doctors, there's no specialist nurses, there's no pathway for people with ME. For people like myself, I got ME off the back of long COVID. So there was services to do with long COVID, but they are now being closed. So I think that having that kind of evidence-based research there is something that we can build on actual meaningful and useful treatment for people. Yeah. And that's really important. We wait a long time.
We talked earlier this week about the lack of that, treatment facility, that pathway for people, particularly with long COVID. And the Scottish Government says that it is spending money going forward on this. But overall, I wonder, given your experience of developing ME after long COVID, and a lot of other people have been in the same position, do you see a link between the two?
Well, yeah, I mean, there is a link. There's a link between long COVID and fatigue. But it's important to mention, I think, that the Scottish Government are absolutely right. There is funding there for ME and long COVID, but they haven't spent a single penny of it yet. Doctors are trying their best, and they need help. They need help to work based on nice guidelines. They need to be able to treat their patients, and people are waiting a long time, so that money needs to be spent now. So whether there's a connection to it or not, almost to me, that seems arbitrary. If we've got actual research and money there, we should be using it to help improve the standard of living with people with these conditions. I think, for me.
What would improve your standard of living? What specifically could be offered?
Well, to see a specialist, I think, first of all, to see somebody who understands what I have and can look at the holistic picture of what's going on with me. What I've found is my GP's excellent, but they very much treat symptom by symptom. And ME is a collection of symptoms and experiences. So I think that would be a start to actually try and pin that down a bit closer. And also just, for me, like support in daily living, it's a very erratic condition. So from one day to the next, you can be very different, or I can anyway. So I think a bit of understanding in that, and things like in workplaces and stuff, would be really helpful, which hopefully will slowly come off the back of research that the Decode team's been doing.
And from what you know from other people who have gone through what you're now dealing with, is there hope here? Can it improve? Does it improve for most people?
I mean, I can't talk for most people. The unfortunate thing about ME is it improves for some and not others. And because there's very little research around that, it's very difficult to see who that's going to happen to and why that's going to happen. But I certainly take hope personally from the research that's been done and the fact that there's possibilities of funding and things there. I volunteer for a group called MEAction Scotland, and I'm seeing more and more that there is research and engagement being done through that. So on a personal level, for me, yes, but I wouldn't want to speak about individual people because I think that everybody's experience with ME is so different, and I think that's really the important thing that I've learned over the past couple of years anyway.
Yeah, and that is an important fact. Victoria, thank you very much indeed for speaking to us. Victoria there, who's living with ME, and she developed that following COVID. And it's interesting to point out, and we heard this earlier on the programme, that researchers say that these findings on DNA have got a long way to go. They've managed to find connections between about 8 pieces of DNA, but there are many, many thousands more. They say that this won't inform treatment and diagnosis just yet, but it does offer some vital clues.